Good morning, sir.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Very good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Morning. Good
Very
morning.
good morning,
Good
sir.
morning. Good morning.
Morning to all.
Professor Dr. Dattadar.
Good morning. Good morning.
Shubhodaya.
Good morning to
Good
everybody.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, sir. Good morning, Mrs.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir, and all sirs and madams respected.
Yeah. No, Suchitra madam, very good morning. I'm
Namaste,
happy
sir.
to see you today morning.
Thank you, sir. I'm also happy to see you all.
So many of the guest of honors are there, and many of the participants have already joined, and some will join. So shall we begin the session, sir? The inauguration session, sir.
Yeah.
So respected Vice Chancellor, Professor O.R.S. Rao, sir, Registrar, Professor Arvind Kumar, sir, our guest of honor, Professor Dr. G.L. Datta, former Dean, Mechanical Engineering, IIT Kharagpur, and former Chancellor and Vice Chancellor of KL University, Andhra Pradesh. Our second guest of honor, Shri Satendra Nath Tiwari ji, the Director Marketing, Coal India Limited. Other dignitaries, the participants and presenters in today's conference, the head of the departments, faculties, scholars, and students. A very good morning, everyone, and welcome to the doctoral conference on contemporary trends in management research in post-COVID-19 era. As you are all aware that at ICFI, it is the trend to organize the conferences and seminars on the contemporary topics in order to add to the research fraternity. And today's conference is also one of the additions to the research fraternity. And we are hoping that in the upcoming sessions, in the technical sessions, a lot many papers will be presented, which would be beneficial for the upcoming researches. Now, before beginning, let's pray to the God. Let's have the virtual lighting of lamp and pray to the God for the health and for the benefit of all the persons in this world.
प्रभु जी सदा ही कृपा हम पे बनाए रखना प्रभु जी सदा ही कृपा हम पे बनाए रखना जो रास्ता सही हो जो रास्ता सही हो उस पे चलाए रखना कृपा बनाए रखना कृपा बनाए रखना
Good.
Now I request our Vice Chancellor, Professor O.R.S. Rao, sir, to kindly address the gathering and please give the welcome address. Please, sir.
Professor Dr. G.L. Dattadar, not only he is a distinguished academician and researcher, and he was also a great academic administrator, both as a VC and Chancellor, and also he is on our academic council. Dr. S.N. Tiwari ji, Director Marketing from the Coal India. Dr. Barik, Assistant Dean, FMS. Dr. Suzan Chirai, who has been organizing this entire event. Dr. Hariharanji, Dr. Kishore, Professor Arvind Kumar, Registrar, and all our faculty members, our research scholars, and all the participants that are participating in today's doctoral conference. I was so impressed that the participants are there from across the country. It's a pan-India. There are participants coming from Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, then southern part, eastern part, everywhere they are there. Both from the private institutions and also the government institutions. And also more particularly, we have seen the participants from the multiple disciplines and multiple fields, not only from the academic field, but also from the applications, be it in terms of the medical, healthcare, IT, retail, various applications that are there. So today's conference, the theme that was selected by our team, that is something very contemporary in the sense that there have been certain kind of landmarks or certain epochs in the history of mankind, you see, because they have changed the course of the economy, industry, and the society. Like if we just see something like at least as far as we know, leave aside the civilization part. But if you take the world wars, the World War I, World War II, and some of them, they have changed the entire complexion of the economies and industries and the society and the way of living itself. Possibly, I think COVID-19 falls into that category. With the result now, sort of very often people refer to something like, the BC and AC. The BC stands for before COVID and AC stands for after COVID. The COVID has changed the entire, complexion of the entire economy and the world and our life into that. And now for most of us, something like, today, because it's all virtual, we are able to see the faces. But in our day-to-day life, every one of us, we have to hide our faces. In my last so many years of my life, for the first time, this is happening. So I can't show my face, So, and I don't see somebody else's face into that. And typically in a human race, like in fact, in the human race, sort of socializing is important part of the social life. So there every time we say that, maybe social distancing and physical distancing. And from there we have moved over to something like, from physical distancing, we have moved to the digital nearness. So to what extent a digital nearness, substitutes, it can take care of, our social kind of, what you call life, or we cannot say, and we have seen that it's not. So that way the COVID has changed the entire, the contours of the entire, the economy, industry, and the society and every one of us. So it's in this context, the theme that is sort of, that was selected was, to look at the research that is happening earlier and now, and what are the changes into that. And another dimension for today's doctoral conference is typically like most of the research that has been happening, particularly in India, has been, into a specific domain. Like somebody that research into the engineering, sort of they don't sway away from there, they stay focused into that. A mechanical engineering, within that they go further and further. Sort of they go into something like welding, they go into 3D printing, whatever into that. But the world is changing. If the research has to find an application, it has to find use, going beyond addition of knowledge to the domain of management or any discipline that we are talking of, it has to be interdisciplinary. Because the real life problems, they don't come in silos. They don't come and say that I'm a marketing problem or finance problem or HR problem. Sort of not do they tell you that I'm an engineering problem or a psychology problem or something else into that. The real life problems, sort of the problem comes, and an interdisciplinary approach, it will help in addressing the problem rather than getting with a specific discipline by itself into that. So that's where our university has taken the path with regard to the research, though it is a management research. On one hand, we have got within the management, we have got the domains like, we have got marketing, finance, HR. Apart from that, we also have got the interdisciplinary kind of domains like, a technology management and, sort of, wherever, in fact, the technology as an enabler is something that we, our scholars have been doing a lot of work. Apart from that, we also have gone into our research scholars. All of our research scholars, they come from experience, either from industry or from the academics. typically something like around 2/3 or 70% of our scholars come with the industry experience, coming from the range of industries, be it manufacturing, be it services, or in the government. And these are the scholars that have been going through kind of a real life experience and real life, they have been seeing various issues. So typically the issues that are taken up for research are those issues, the issues that they have been seeing in the day-to-day life. So that's where the interdisciplinary research becomes important. So because of that, today's tracks, while we have got the 3 tracks which are more domain tracks, the 4th track is interdisciplinary kind of a track. There we have seen, the scholars and presenters, they're presenting a range of kind of issues into that. So it's quite an impressive gathering today we have got. The intelligentsia of not just only Jharkhand or the eastern part of the country, but also the intelligentsia across the country, sort of across various parts of the country that are assembling today. And I wish, sort of a very enlightening kind of series of sessions today. And I'm very confident that these sessions, will be not only interesting, insightful, they will add to our knowledge. And so with these few words, and I wish all of you all the best.
Thank you so much, Rao sir, for addressing all of us. And because of your motivation, we have been into this field and we are climbing new stairs every day, sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Susan Chariot ma'am to kindly give the introduction of the sessions and also to introduce the conference tracks.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Shweta. Thank you very much. Good morning once again to all the dignitaries, Dr. G.L. Datta, Sri Satyendranath Tiwari, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, O.R.S. Rao sir, faculty members and participants from all over the country. Okay. Good morning once again. And Shweta, how much time you have given to me? 3 minutes, 4 minutes? Because I like to share some of my thoughts with the research scholars. Being the research coordinator of ICFA University, Jharkhand, I thought it would be good on my part if I share some of my thoughts with the participants and with the audience today.
Ma'am, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Shweta. Thank you, Dr. Shweta. And ICFA University, Jharkhand is very, very diligently, they organize doctoral conferences. And every year, we invite participation from across the country. And this year we have 1 or 2 papers from Australia also. So this is something which we have taken up very diligently. And a lot of efforts are already gone into that. And now coming to my part, since it is a doctoral conference and all the research scholars are present here in this inaugural function, I thought, let me share 1 or 2 points. Okay. Number 1. When we say research, it is 100% scientific research. And scientific research encourages only a rigorous, impersonal mode of procedure, which is dictated by the demand of logic and objective procedure. You cannot dilute that because this is a scientific research. And that is one of the most important and salient features of scientific research. Second point is, scientific research implies an objective, logical, and systematic method. That is a method free from your personal bias or prejudice, a method to ascertain demonstrable qualities of a phenomenon, capable of being verified, a method wherein the researcher, that is you, the researcher, is guided by the rule of logical reasoning, a method wherein you, the researcher, proceeds in an orderly manner, and a method that implies internal consistency. These points are very valid, and from the beginning till the end, you have to keep all these points in your mind and make and see that your research work is highly impersonal, free from all prejudice and bias. Second point I like to mention is, as a researcher, as an investigator, as an academic researcher, you should have the intellectual courage to question the beliefs of your predecessors. And how we are practicing this in our university is, this questioning is possible only when you do a very thorough review of literature, which we are very, very particular in ICFA University, Jharkhand, and to find out what your predecessors have done and what they haven't done, so that you are identifying the knowledge gap, the literature gap. There you step in. The third point is something little philosophical, and that talks about humility. Two kinds of humility are there. Humility before the limitations of human mind, and humility before the magnitude of what we do not know, what is yet to be known. What we know is very little, and what is yet to be known, or what we do not know, is very fast. Kindly keep this in your mind. Immanuel Kant, the German philosopher, he best exemplified the first humility, that is humility before the limitations of human mind. And the immortal introductory sentence to the first edition of Critique of Pure Reason, it reads as follows. It's very, very interesting, and it is philosophical, of course, no doubt about that. Human reason has its peculiar fate that in one species of its knowledge, it is burdened by questions which are prescribed by the very nature of reason itself. It is not able to ignore, but which, as transcending all its powers, it is also not able to answer. This is the fate of, we do have a lot of questions, but for our many queries and questions, perhaps we may not have answers to all our queries and questions. And the second one, that is humility before the magnitude of what is not known to us, that is best exemplified by Sir Isaac Newton. Towards the end of his life, he wrote, "I do not know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been a little boy playing on the seashore and diverting myself in and now and then, finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than an ordinary, while the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me." This is the humility before the magnitude of what is known to us. What we know is very little, and what we do not know, the truth, that is an ocean. Okay, and I like to conclude this quoting Upanishad. Asatoma Sadgamaya, Mrityorma Amurdam Gamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, through search and research. And having said that, let me come to what Shweta Madam has assigned to me, give an overview of what is going to happen today. So I repeat once again, the theme of the conference is Doctoral Conference on Contemporary Trends in Management Research in Post-COVID-19 Era. We are going through the inaugural process. We have got very important erudite professors and eminent scholars in their field for the inaugural session. And the inaugural session will be from 10 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. And the welcome address is already delivered by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. Then we are having Professor G.L. Datta with us and Sri Satyendra Nath Tiwari. And it will be concluded by vote of thanks, which is going to be proposed by our respected registrar, sir. Then from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., session 1, track 1, which is marketing. And the session will be chaired by Dr. Manoj Prabhagar. He's the head of the School of Management, Nagaland Central University. And the session coordinators are Dr. Manish Kumar, Dr. Dilip Kumar, and at the same time, we are having 4 tracks. And the second one is, that is again parallel tracks. That is session 1, track 2, that is finance. And the session chair is Dr. Joji Chandran, Professor and Head of the Department of Management Studies, Christ University, Delhi. And the session will be coordinated by Dr. Gautam Tandi and Dr. Pritha Chadurvedi. And from 2 p.m. to 3:55 p.m., we are having session 2, track 1, that is OBHR. And the session chair will be Dr. Sunil Frank Justice, Professor of Department of Management Studies, Annamala University. And the session coordinators will be Dr. Rumna Bhattacharya, the Senior Professor in ICFA University, Jharkhand, and Dr. Shweta Singh. Parallelly, simultaneously, we are having one more track that is interdisciplinary, that also at the same time, 2:14 to 3:55 p.m. Session 2, track 2, interdisciplinary. And the session chair will be Dr. Madan Lal, Professor, Department of Commerce and Management, Delhi University. And the session coordinators will be Dr. Pallavi Kumari and Dr. Subradho Day. And finally, we are having the valedictory function, which will be commencing from 4 p.m. and which will which will be wound up at 5:11 p.m. And I have given you, and in that, Dr. K.K. Nag, he will be with us. Dr. Abhijit Kaur will be with us. Dr. Hariharan sir will be with us. And of course, the announcement of the best papers will be done by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Rao sir. And Dr. Rajkumar will be proposing the vote of thanks. So I believe I have given you an overview of today's program and activities and proceedings. And with that, I am concluding. And Dr. Shweta, thank you once again. And over to you, Dr. Shweta.
Thank you so much, Suzanne ma'am. You have very well updated us, and obviously we all now know that all about the conference tracks and what would be the happening throughout the day in the entire conference. Now, we all have been waiting for the launch of the conference souvenir, and since the conference is, you can say, is a bit with a bit. It is not possible to conclude the conference without the conference souvenir. So I request the technical team to kindly share the launch of the conference souvenir, so that we can all have a look at the conference souvenir. So as you all can see on the screen, this is the conference souvenir that we'll be having for this doctoral conference. Thank you so much, our technical team, for sharing the conference souvenir with all of us. Now, I would like to invite our guest of honor, Professor Dr. G.L. Dattaji, the former Dean, Mechanical Engineering, IIT Kharagpur, and former Chancellor and Vice Chancellor of KL University, Andhra Pradesh, to address the gathering. Dr. G.L. Datta has been serving the alma mater for close to 4 decades as a distinguished teacher, renowned researcher, and able administrator. He has handled a large number of projects sponsored by the Government of India and private organizations in the fields of welding and foundry. He has been the member of UGC appointed teams for visiting institutions for granting deemed to be university status. So I would like to request our guest of honor, Dr. G.L. Dattaji, to please address all of us.
Sir, kindly unmute from your end, sir.
Sir, Datta sir, kindly unmute. Unmute from your side.
रुमना जी फोन करके बताइए, नहीं तो
Datta sir, kindly unmute from your side, sir.
He has unmuted.
Purna ma'am or Shweta ma'am, can you call him and tell him?
Ma'am has called him already.
Hello?
Now, yes, sir. Now you are audible, sir. Please address the gathering.
Yeah. There was some. I'm sorry, Dr. Shweta. Thank you very much. I'm really very sorry that it was not getting unmuted. I wish a very good morning to all of you present in this wonderful morning and wonderful gathering. Good morning to Professor Varis Rao, Honorable Vice Chancellor of ICFI University. Honored guest, Sri Satyendranath Tiwari ji, Director Marketing, Coal India Limited. Professor Arvind Kumar, Registrar of the University. I find Dr. Sushan is present, and quite a few others are there from the university. And of course, all the doctoral scholars attended this conference. Once again, very good morning to all of you. At the outset, I want to thank the organizers of this conference from ICFI University for thinking and giving shape to this very unique conference on doctoral conference on contemporary trends in management research in post-COVID-19 era, where the doctoral researchers will get an opportunity to present their papers in the presence of the fellow researchers and academicians. I consider this conference a unique one, an innovative initiative of the university. I indeed like to congratulate Professor Rao and all others from ICFI University who had given shape to this initiative. As Professor Rao has said, I have been associated with ICFI University for some time as a member of the Academic Council and have been closely observing its gradual but remarkable progression to its present level, with several landmark milestones to its credit. It runs several UG and PG programs in multidisciplinary areas, with doctoral research program in the area of management being its flagship initiative. And I have been very happy, delighted to see the initiative taken by the university in doing research in interdisciplinary area, where they have definitely a good strength, I find. The university, to my assessment, has very competent and committed faculty. I have found Professor Varis Rao, the Vice Chancellor, as a leader par excellence. The conference theme is management research in post-COVID era. During the last 2 years, I've been seeing COVID-19 and we are still in COVID-19 era, to my mind. It has dismantled our life in many ways, disrupting all the activities of a human society, be it industrial activity, economic activity, personal activity, at all level of all type. But thanks to the scientists and researchers and all others, we have been facing this greatest possible challenge with determination. We have learned and still learning many new things and waiting for the new normal situation to emerge, to move ahead steadily. We have great hopes from the doctoral researchers in the area of management. Dear researchers, you will show us the new directions, give us new theories on human behaviors, production, management of industrial goods, services, marketing, education, economy, and everything. Professor Rao very rightly said, we are in a digital era, digital world. We talk of digital India. We talk of digital management today. By attending this conference, you researchers would get an opportunity to network with co-researchers, fellow researchers in the area all over the country and possibly elsewhere. You would learn from each other how to go about improving your hypothesis. Please encourage questions. As Madam Shoshana said, from the audience, from all who are present, of course in a virtual mode, even if you do not have the answers to the questions, those would ultimately help you in showing new paths. This I have learned from my little experience of more than 5 decades that I have been connected with research, education, and so on, that if you pay attention to questions and take them very seriously and ponder over them at some later time, I have seen they tell us many stories. They tell us many things. They tell us where we have faltered, where we need to correct our direction, research direction, path. Those questions will tell us what to do next, what needs to be done. So I have been telling all my colleagues, all my research students, many of them are now great scholars serving in many universities. Take questions from the students, from the co-workers very seriously. During my research days, when I was doing research, I remember in early mid-60s, long time ago, we used to, it was mandatory for us, and it is still mandatory for all others in many universities, that we were asked to present every semester a seminar on what we have been doing. And I really learned from those that they were really very useful in shaping my research activity. And this is what I tell the young researchers: attend conferences, do networking. It will be of great help. And take cues, clues from others, work of others, questions from others, things like that. I'm very sure this conference is going to be a grand success with people, very competent people of ICFI University being there. I have no doubt that all the researchers, research scholars, the management researchers would be greatly benefited. And at the end of the day, there will be many things for you to take home. I think I have taken up my allotted time. Once again, I wish the conference a grand success, and wish, of course, I wish all of you to remain safe, healthy, and pray to God for your prosperity and success. Thank you very much.
Thank
Over
you so
to
much.
Madam
Yes.
Shweta. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Datta sir, for your motivating words and obviously for your wishes for the conference and all of us. Now I would like to invite the other guest of honor, Shri Satyendra Nath Tiwari ji, who is the Director Marketing Coal India Limited. Shri Tiwari has a rich and vast experience of over 33 years in marketing and AMP sales. He has worked in various capacities since 1986 in Central Coalfields Limited, Eastern Coalfields Limited, and AMP Northern Coalfields Limited before joining Coal India Limited as a General Manager, Marketing and AMP Sales. So I would like to request Satyendra Nath Tiwari ji to kindly address the gathering. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sweta. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. A very good morning to the brilliant minds in academic field. I am wondering what I am doing as an industry man in the company of so much illustrious academicians and wonderful researchers. I belong to an industry which is considered to be security provider in the field of energy to this country. Thermal energy is considered to be not so pollution causing industry, but we in this industry are also trying to make the things greener, cleaner, and people friendly. We are into something like coal gasification, where pollution will be less. We are into coal liquefaction, where methanol and ethanol can be produced. This company, if you consider 10 bulbs, out of these 10 bulbs in India, 7 bulbs were lighted through the thermal energy produced by Coal India. That is our share in this industry. When I look at you and the work which has been done, as I've been told by Mr. Sumit Sinha, who contacted me for this opening ceremony, I was told about the work which you have done and I was impressed. And that is why I thought I'll come and at least say thanks a lot from the people and from the countrymen for whom you are generating ideas, for whom you are giving us so much of your valuable time, energy, creating ideas which will turn into good and healthy life for this country. Let me start with something which Chanakya has said. Mantra rakshane karya siddhi bhavati. One should start a work only after adequate planning. Can you imagine a person who has not studied in management schools saying this? And the best one which I like is Shira Arthana Kim Karirnya. One who wishes to get milk would not buy an elephant. The words of wisdom of management as conceived by Chanakya at those times are so relevant. And when I see what is happening in primary research in this country, I still feel that we should be more rooted for what is required domestically instead of just borrowing from Western world. I'm sure Professor O.R.S. Rao, Professor G.L. Datta, Dr. Chirayat, Dr. Ruman Bhattacharya, whom I can see on my screen, can lead this and can give much more to this country than anyone who is watching us. I hope and pray to all that this is being done. I extend my greetings. I extend my well wishes to ICFAI University Jharkhand for this post-COVID-19 era, and would like to conclude with two things. I think you all must be aware that recently China has created an artificial sun through hydrogen fusion technology, and the energy and the heat which this artificial sun on a sustainable 16 minutes was 6 times more than the sun which we have got. You will be pleased to note that India, with the cooperation of France, is doing something similar, and hopefully we will get this benefit of energy to our countrymen. I invite doctoral research people for going into energy sector where we can have hydrogen-based technology. We can have, say, can we consider water as a storage instead of a battery? All these things may give us some peaceful thoughts on pollution control, management, and better way of life. With these words, thank you once again to ICFAI and my best wishes to this session and all the sessions to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Satyendranath Tiwari Sirji, and thank you for your well wishes for the conference and also enlightening the future researchers in the areas of innovation where they can think of doing the research. Now, I would request our registrar, Professor Arvind Kumar sir, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Shweta. Respected Professor O.R.S. Rao sir, our Vice Chancellor, our guest of honors, Professor Dr. G.L. Datta ji, and Shri Satyendranath Tiwari ji, Director Marketing, Coal India Limited. other invited guests, academicians, researchers, and scholars. It has been a grand opening session with the presence of noted academicians and industrialists from Coal India Limited and others. We have listened to their views, and ICFA University Jharkhand is thankful and grateful for all their good wishes, for all the time they have taken out from their busy schedule to share their thoughts, give us good wishes for the successful conduct of the doctoral conference. At the same time, I also thank the organizing team, the faculty members, and the technical team for doing it very successfully. I wish them all success throughout the day and hope we all will be benefited by the outcome of these sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And now I would request the technical team to kindly share the screen and all the chairpersons of the technical sessions. We are having Dr. Manoj Prabhakar, as already has been elaborated by Susan. Dr. Manoj Prabhakar, the head of School of Management, Nagaland Central University. Then we are having Dr. Joji Chandranji, the head School of Business and Management, Christ University, Delhi, NCR campus. Then Dr. Sunil Frank Justice is there. He is the Deputy Director, Directorate of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Annamalai University. And Dr. Madan Lal is there, the Professor of Department of Commerce, University of Delhi. So all these 4 persons we will be having as the chairpersons for the technical sessions. And I may also like to inform that since the participants and the presenters have already received the Google Meet link, which they will be joining for their presentations. So we have already provided the link. After the inaugural session, you need to join into your Google Meet link, and parallel sessions will be there. For marketing, one session is there, and for finance, one session is there. So you will be joining in that sessions. So thank you so much. And now I request everyone to kindly switch on their video so that we can have a group photograph.
We have taken, ma'am.
Thank you all for joining. I would now like to close this inaugural session and would like to thank everyone on behalf of ICFA University Jharkhand for taking out the time and joining this inaugural session. As we have already informed, and I'd like to again inform the presenters and the participants to kindly join in their respective Google Meet links. Just after 5 minutes, by 11, we will be beginning the technical sessions, and we will be having the presentations. We will be starting with the presentations. To kindly be ready with the PPTs, and please join the Google Meet link that has been provided. So thank you all for joining.
Thank you, Dr. Saita.